Alright. Let's continue. Why is the camera this far down? Okay. So, it's a weekend, and I think I am going to like continue the old games as well. Not just focus on the new best thing ever. It's a Dune Awakening. It's a survival crafting game, so it's a lot of grind basically. Anyway, we are testing out the roleplay there today, so not going to broadcast it, but let's see if we can see some roleplay later at some form or another. Today we are going to play Statmed Judgment Rites. I'll try to play 2 episodes, one if the time doesn't allow, and I suppose after that we are going to play Vietcong as a after sauna game. I think I should go sauna. So let's see what the timing is. But after that, after the Vietcong, I think I'm going to like dive into Dune Awakening, and I'm going to show you the social hub. So less grinding, more like showing the MMO aspect of the game. So that's the idea at least. But now we are going to dive into the world of Star Trek, and we have this Judgment Rite. Oh, this is pretty high. Okay, we are in a mission 4 apparently. The light and darkness. Let's talk about Spock. I need to check the I need to check the keys. What's it about? C is the computer, that's easy. Talk to Commander Spock. T.
I advise referring to the star map and setting a course for the Onius system, Captain.
Onius.
Onius 2, a Class M planet in a system consisting of 3 unformed planets. Because of the high level of micrometeorite activity in the system, it is unusual for a Class M planet to exist. The planet is not inhabited and is not scheduled for colonization.
Not scheduled for the colonization. Let's check the sounds at this point. I think the sound effect could be like slightly lower. Those box sounds. Okay. That's fine. So Onius 2 and... Okay.
Arming weapons. Raising shields.
Okay, next thing we are going to need to check from the star map. This is like a old-fashioned copy protection. So printed manuals were a thing back in the day. So we need to like check for Onius is 11, and it's over there. It's going to be like a battle if you don't take the wrong one. I think it's this. And we
Approaching
exploded.
Onius 2, Captain.
It may be nothing, Captain, but a scan of the planet's atmosphere indicates a high concentration of rare gases trapped in the planet's magnetosphere. Atmospheric disturbances could produce random radio waves.
It wouldn't be the first time, Mr. Spock, but we'll never be able to tell if we don't check it out.
After all, to seek out new life and new civilizations is our mission, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
A split infinitive, Captain.
What?
The proper grammatical expression is to go boldly where no man has gone before.
Somehow, I think it loses a little in the translation.
Nah. Standard orbit bus.
Entering standard orbit.
Fascinating, Captain. Sensors indicate only 2 faint life forms. It is difficult to distinguish, given the discharges in the planet's magnetosphere. It is, however, safe to transport to the planet's surface.
We haven't met any planet where you couldn't breathe, so... Okay, then...
Captain, the shields are up. Lowering shields, Captain.
Captain, our sensors will not be particularly useful to you while you're down there, and communications may be erratic, sir.
We'll be fine, Lieutenant. What reason is there to worry?
I'm afraid, Captain, there are plenty of precedents. We'll be here if you need us.
I have no doubt of that.
I have tracked the signal to its source. It is near the life forms. The rest of the planet is quite desolate. No sign of life or technology. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable. And I detect numerous micrometeorite hits.
There are 3 unformed planets in this system. It's no wonder. There are so many micrometeorites. I'm surprised any Class M planet hasn't been pulverized by now.
It is not inconceivable, but it is certainly unusual.
Let's do it, Spock. You, McCoy, and I. Oh, and tell Bones to see if a genetic specialist's available. If there are only 2 life forms, we might be privileged to see life at its earliest stages.
No red shirt.
Seems to me as if we've landed on a skeleton after the vultures have picked it clean.
A fascinating analogy, Doctor. Captain, the locus of the distress signal is in that building.
I think the doctor is right. Anything good here died a long time ago. It feels creepy to me.
Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Johns. I'll be certain to use creepy in my log entry about this.
Nah.
Save new game.
Let's start to scan things.
As improbable as it might seem, I am getting multiple life form readings from inside this building. My readings indicate that a force field was here until very recently.
Okay, that's interesting.
I tell you, Jim, if I could get my operating room as sterile as this planet, I'd be overjoyed.
So it's a sterile planet.
Well, I have to hand it to whoever built this place. All this equipment looks brand new and in good repair.
Let's hope the Enterprise looks this good when it's this old.
We should be very careful about how we proceed, Captain. I have a strange feeling that evil is lurking nearby.
Evil, Ensign?
Something that wants to imperil our souls, sir. We must avoid that at all costs.
Okay, good point. Good point.
This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old. Yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered.
That's probably powered by Linux.
Aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle, this DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was 50,000 years ago.
Actually, if there's some evil around, I want to look around first. Can we move? Okay, so we can.
An antenna. I wonder what it was meant for.
That's what we're here to find out.
Probably sending messages. Can we move anywhere else?
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The focal point of the dish is aligned approximately 35 degrees above the horizon.
Unlike the rocks surrounding it, the sensor array dish looks fairly new.
Captain, until power has been returned to these controls, there is nothing I can do. This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its
Similar.
control principles are similar to the Medaille sensor dish on Vulcan. It has locked the array at a 35-degree angle. Without knowledge of the code control sequence, I cannot adjust it. I also detect that its power core is not functioning.
Geothermal energy. Okay.
I hope they didn't pay the landscapers very many credits for this work.
You know, Jim, this is not the kind of place to inspire homesickness.
Aside from this sensor array, there is nothing unexpected here.
Okay. That's interesting. I think we forget to do this.
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There are some things I just can't fix.
Can you get the DNA?
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a
Okay.
Captain, Ensign Johns would be the ideal person to operate this device. This device is curiously similar to the DNA replicators back on the Enterprise.
Captain, we have to run a set of source samples through the sequencer before I can make a composite sample with the replicator.
Core samples.
There are life form readings just to the east and west of this room. There are life form readings just to the east and west of this room. This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered. There are life form readings just to the east and west of this room.
Okay.
Readings indicate that along with oxidation and dust, there is some organic residue in the crust-like buildup.
Okay, can we now scan it with the...
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician.
Okay, he doesn't want to do
Save new game. Cancel. Save. Replace. Delete. Replace previous.
it. Let's release that. So it's inside the crust.
A unique use of a phaser, but adequate for removing the deposits from the apparatus.
Ah, okay. Can you now do something with that?
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There are some things I just can't fix.
It is a fully functional genetic replicator, Captain.
Okay, so now it works. So how does this work?
It is a fully functional This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old. Yet
right hand rule. Let's see if there's a monster that eats us. Then again, this isn't Sierra game, so...
Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome.
Okay.
I am Azra of the Omegan people. You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
An angel!
actually, it is the projected image of an angel, Mr. Johns.
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the porthole are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
Okay. Scan everything.
This casing is constructed from a uranium alloy and contains computer equipment, an image projector controlled from the keyboard, a communications relay, a genetic bank behind that porthole, and a slot with which to take samples from the genetic bank. The computer is quite sophisticated, Captain, with encoded engrams similar to Dr. Daystrom's M5 computer program, which would indicate artificial intelligence.
Oh. M5 was evil.
This casing is constructed from a uranium alloy and contains computer equipment, an image projector controlled.
Okay, you already said that.
Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received. This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan races.
Good frame rate.
Whatever he is, he's not alive. I get no readings at all from him. The enclosure behind this porthole is teeming with life. Billions and billions of creatures. There's something wrong with the piece of his genetic code that controls reproduction. I've never seen such a low reproductive rate in an organism that's this simple. I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There are some things I just can't fix. I'm detecting a lot of life within that porthole, Jim.
A lot of life, but it's not reproducing. Let's check the chat. Okay, no chat.
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James. So where's the emergency?
Where's the emergency?
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? All right, I know you're just a projection. Let's speak with your real master. So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
I am Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces of darkness. We must help him.
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about?
About maybe it's a
Our
virus.
Prime Directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise. You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both sides of the story. Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about?
I speak of the Alphans, of course.
Alpha and
They
Omega.
are foul, cold creatures who pervert even the most sacred ideas. They cling to the heretical belief that life began within darkness. Of course, we recognize light as the life bringer. All things began in a brilliant, life-giving burst of light.
A burst of light? That's a common motif in creation stories.
Or in accordance with the Big Bang theory of the universe's creation.
You must expunge the world of the Alphans. This is why I called you here. I know you can accomplish what you need to do with the equipment that is present. Be warned, Visner can be very persuasive. I await your report of success.
Okay, so... Let me guess that the second guy is in a second room. Mortal enemies. Because mortal enemies apparently share the same house. Apparently.
I welcome you, otherworlders. I beseech you, save us from that which seeks our destruction.
How fitting for a devil to appear on a world that looks like hell.
Enough of that, Mr. Johns. This is just another xenobiological entity.
Correction, Doctor. This is a projection of a xenobiological entity.
Jim, the only life form readings are within that machine behind the portal. Single-cell organisms with an extremely high reproductive rate, but a very poor metabolism and an extremely short life.
Okay, that's why they are enemies. Huh.
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received.
But it's the other guy other aliens that sent the message.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan races.
So basically, builder is the same.
I'm just a simple country doctor. I'm just a simple country doctor, not a magician. There are some things I just can't fix. The glass-lined enclosure beyond this porthole is teeming with life. Literally billions and billions of creatures reside herein. The genetic pattern seems unusually stunted. It's almost as though something's missing. Whatever he is, he's not alive. I get no readings at all from him. Whatever he is, he's not alive.
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? So, when do the wicked witches and goblins show up? Your emergency beacon and statement lead me to believe you see more of an emergency than exists here. Greetings, I am James T.
I am Visner of the Alphen people. Our race possessed this world and thrived here until the invasion by the forces of light. We are locked in a death struggle with them, for they desire our destruction. Do you aid them?
No, we do not aid them. Wars and destruction are not things we value, Visner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise.
Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it?
You can be a really jackass in these choices.
Wars and destruction are not things we value, Visner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise.
Okay.
You open yourself to confusion in speaking with Azra, but it is understandable that you want to hear his side before acting. My assessment of you suggests that most of you will fight the clouding of logic and will see through Azra's deception. Please report to me your success.
Why wait? We've already talked to Azra.
It surprises me that you managed to survive listening to his warped theology. Yours must be a patient life form.
Frankly, Visner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be. Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all. Frankly, Visner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly warped theology.
Were you utterly ungrounded in logic? They are creatures of superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common. You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that?
This is pretty good.
We know we came first because they invaded us. An invasion suggests they came to take away that which we possessed. Clearly you can see that.
How do you know they didn't exist on this world before you encountered them?
Do you further suppose they came first and we invaded them?
I see there are only single-celled organisms here, each with a defect. Perhaps at one time, the Alpha and Omega life forms were united. A strong, viable species that became divided.
Might be like a good idea.
Only by reuniting can you hope to survive. And only through mutual cooperation and our help can you reunite.
Captain, this thing is evil. We can't unite them.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Okay.
You take the alpha sample, which feels cold to the touch.
So basically through diversity, because nature is eating nature by definition. It's natural. So both are like too specialized. Now we just need to get the
Save new game.
angel dude to
Replace previous game.
understand that.
You get no response. You get no response.
Okay. Spock, do something.
This would appear to be the casing of a larger apparatus. I will now reactivate Azra, Captain.
Okay, you can. Nice.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Alphans unfeeling, uncaring beings unworthy of life? Did they tell you their lies?
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them. Frankly, Azra Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic. For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty.
Nah.
Maybe you should try practicing what you preach. Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them.
Captain, they're as different as angels and demons.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us and our potential for good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help? You said they were created after you were. How do you know that?
We know we came first because that is what our sacred scriptures tell us. In the light we were born and commanded to shun that which dwells in darkness. This clearly tells us that we came first. Surely you can see that. Or is it that you have some other interpretation of the event that birthed the Omegans?
Does your sacred scriptures explicitly say that no beings were created before you?
Dare you suggest they came first?
Let's see what we've got. Two single-celled organisms, each incapable of survival on their own. One lives in light, the other lives in darkness. Each must live a limited and unstable life without the other.
Captain, do you know what you're doing?
Allow us to unite you again. Your combined strengths will make you a viable entity again.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Yeah, there's several point-and-click games of the Star Trek. I have played two, no, actually three. So Star Trek 25th anniversary was like a 1990. The game before this is like a sequel to that. And then there was this 1998 Star Trek Next Generation game that I played. You can find it from my YouTube page. And then there's this Star Trek Resurgence, which was like former Telltale developers made this point-and-click, modern point-and-click game, which you can see from my YouTube page as well. I played it like last year or something. So yeah, there's several point-and-clicks of the Star Trek. Then again, in 1993, remember that Doom was just fresh, and then the shooters kind of took the place of the point-and-click games. So this was like a prime time of the point-and-click games, but that ended like something like 1995, 1996. Okay, so let's take the blue sample here.
The sample dish feels warm to the touch.
Cold and warm. Niinkin monta pitääpä katsella tubesta. Yeah, there's several games. I think the Resurgence was
This
like a
quality of creatures appears viable for the short term only.
The best, like in the meaning of its most modern point-and-click.
This colony of creatures appears viable for the short term only.
Okay. Not the blue, yellow and blue samples. Oh yeah, I totally forget to scan that.
I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling.
Boy, these Alphans are healthy little beggars. They're multiplying at a phenomenal rate. These Omegans are incredible. They metabolize almost everything, which explains how they give off that glow.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, you are standing in the way.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, interesting.
Captain, it is unusual for an officer of Ensign John's skill to be unable to replicate the Alpha sample.
Are you accusing me of lying, Mr. Spock?
There is a 99.97% probability that you are attempting to mislead us. The punishment for intentionally misleading one's commanding officer is court-martial.
Ensign, let Dr. McCoy try that troublesome sequence.
I can do the job, sir, if I can have some peace and quiet here.
Mr. Johns, I think I'm getting a clear picture here of your difficulties. Do you realize that insubordination is an offense punishable by a court-martial? It looks to me that you're deliberately trying to mislead us. That's not a good career move. Calm down, Ensign. No one is criticizing you. I just need answers.
I appreciate the offer, Captain, but I know what's right and wrong here, so I don't need your help.
Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy. You have a job to do. Ensign, you are here as a genetic engineer, not as a philosopher. I expect my orders to be obeyed, and if you have a problem with them, I don't expect to be deliberately misled. I could really use a Tellarite security officer right now. Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy. You have a job to do.
You don't understand, Captain. Look at the Alphans and look at the Omegans. There's so much evil in the universe. You're asking me to destroy a race of good and beauty by mixing their genetics with something ugly, something evil. I can't do it.
Ensign, these Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. Those projections are only constructs. Examine them yourself. Could their DNA produce creatures like Azra and Visner? I am asking you to do nothing of the kind, Ensign. You believe in the struggle of good against evil, and I respect that. But the application of your philosophical perspective is misplaced here. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. They are no more capable of good or evil than a tribble. Can't you see that? Ensign, I think you're confusing things. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. While the projections may have seemed sophisticated and human, they are constructs. You can look at the sequence and tell what you have there for DNA. Ensign, these Alphans... Ensign, I think you're confusing things. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures.
They sound almost the same.
You're right. I've been a real idiot. I suppose I should take a refresher course in Aesop.
It wouldn't hurt. Some of the wisest people in history have written for children.
Never judge an input card by its label. I guess that was the trap I fell into and kept me from doing my job and made me deceive my captain.
If it's any consolation, you're not very good at deception, Ensign.
Thank you, sir. I hope you'll give me a chance to correct my mistakes. Do you think we're really meant to combine the two races?
You've programmed the sequences. You can tell whether they're compatible.
Sir, the sequencer indicates that they need to be combined for their continual survival. But how did you know?
I listened to Dr. McCoy. It seemed the logical conclusion, given the evidence.
Thank you, Captain.
The alpha sample is sequenced, sir.
Okay, McCoy is on the way.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, let's... McCoy is standing on the way. He's sabotaging the mission now. Okay, not standing anymore. Nice.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Why?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, that's probably... Okay, so that's the real place where I need to go.
This sample sequence is like a dream.
Okay, so we have a sample.
I think we need to make sure a combined sample of the two races is stored in the proper machine.
Captain, Ensign Johns would be the ideal person to operate.
Captain, we have to run a set of source samples through the sequencer before I can make a composite sample with the replicator.
This seems pointless. This seems pointless.
The two samples have joined together as easily as if they had once been a whole and had been separated before.
Any race that had this technology 50,000 years ago could possibly have been able to perform such a dissection and kept both halves alive.
Captain, with the samples sequenced together, I'm ready to use the replicator to produce a sample with the combined genetic data.
Okay, finally.
I am producing a new culture, Captain. Captain, the genetic sequence is still stored in the computer. If we need another sample, the replicator can generate it.
Okay, that means that I can actually fail something.
Save new game. Replace previous.
I officially christen this life form the Gammons.
Okay. Okay, we have a green goo.
This colony of creatures appears viable for the long term, quite vital and thriving.
These combined creatures have a triangular structure. These Gammons have the energy efficiency of the Omegans and the reproductive rate of the Alphans.
What's in here?
There is power going into these circuits, Captain, making it capable of function. The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Well, Jim, it doesn't look like it does anything. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon.
Nah.
It took it in.
Yes.
It looks as if the colony is getting a foothold in there.
Life energy levels are spiking. They're building to a level sufficient for sending out a signal 100 times stronger than the one that brought us here, Captain.
The Gammon sample appears to be thriving in this environment.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
It would appear there is more to this message than we are receiving.
Kirk to Uhura. Are you receiving any strange subspace or radio signals?
Captain, there is a neutrino-based transmission being broadcast near your current position from a point of unknown origin, probably from another star system. Our equipment is not designed to handle it. Though given 1 or 2 weeks, we might be able to identify patterns and extrapolate what it's trying to say.
We'll work on the problem from here. Kirk out.
Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received. In addition, I detect a nutrient replicator within the apparatus, capable of feeding organisms for thousands of centuries. This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan.
Okay, what now?
There's nothing living in here, but there are nutrients capable of sustaining large quantities of life. Whatever he is, he's not alive. I get no readings at all from him.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the creatures who designed it were possessed of hands with only 3 fingers and a thumb.
Okay.
I cannot affect this projection, Captain. Still, this is a very well done 3-dimensional projection of a computer-generated form. The program and the equipment are very sophisticated.
We take pride in our workmanship.
I should probably do something to get this completed.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received. In addition, I detect a nutrient replicator within the apparatus, capable of feeding organisms for thousands of centuries.
Beautiful and quite lifelike, the three-dimensional projection appears to be a blend of Alphan and Omegan traits.
There is power going into these circuits. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Let's see. It says that doctors don't need tricorders for self-diagnosis.
Then your machine is giving an incorrect analysis.
Okay.
There's nothing living in here, but there are nutrients capable of sustaining large quantities of life.
Okay. So he's saying the different thing.
This slot is shut tight and there's none of the dust we saw out in the other room. I can't seem to do anything. Why do I have a feeling that this mission will be resolved?
Divine inspiration, Captain?
I won't discount it, Ensign. Whoa, my hand went right through it. It's a projection.
I cannot affect this projection, Captain. Still, this is a very well done.
We take pride in our workmanship.
My tricorder...
Whole lot of nothing behind there, I think. It seems to have the best points of both the Alphans and Omegans.
This seems pointless. No effect. A large alien computer. A large alien computer. The computer console appears normal, though non-functional.
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the...
Beautiful and...
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
Okay, that's feels like it should continue, but now we are not getting anything. Maybe I forget to do something.
Nothing unusual about that object. The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way. The computer is functional.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which...
Okay, so we don't know the reason. We could try to...
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to...
now he's glitching out.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a... Nothing unusual.
Kirk to Enterprise. Scotty, can you read me?
Mr. Scott is off duty, Captain.
Oh, never mind. Kirk out.
He's drunk. Probably.
A large alien. A large alien.
So what do we have? Do we have anything we could use to fix this thing? No.
Well, this place seems peaceful. Says here that you have the temperament of a computer.
Thank you, Doctor. I was not aware that your tricorder was capable of making such subjective analyses.
No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I don't think...
Well, this place...
Do you have any idea what this machine does, Spock?
It looks like a containment unit for an artificially created genetic construct. My tricorder indicates the device contains a nutrient replicator that could last for thousands of centuries. I would speculate this would nursemate the genes until it has evolved into a higher form of life and is ready for release on the planet's surface.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created.
Okay.
I am authorized to
forever loop. That's common in a programming languages. That's a common bug.
Thank you for your...
Whoa, my hand went... No, I don't think that...
I cannot affect this.
We take pride in our...
Okay. I think we could fail this if we don't know the... Or maybe I could like a...
Kirk to Enterprise. Scotty, can you read me?
Mr. Scott is off duty, Captain.
Oh, never mind. Kirk out.
That's why you should like a save often. So what do we have right now? Okay, it's...
I officially christen this life form.
Let's scan the machine
This colony
first.
of creatures appears...
Let's scan the machine first.
They're a life form reading.
These combined creatures have a triangular structure. These gammons have the energy efficiency of the omegans.
Okay. Now we have the sample. Let's try not to break the game again.
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the creatures who design. The computer is functioning. Nothing unusual about... Nothing unusual. There is power going into these... The computer is functional. Nothing
I'm just a simple... I'm just a simple... I'm just a...
Okay, so we can...
Do you have any idea what this machine does, Spock?
It looks like a containment unit for an artificially created genetic construct. My tricorder indicates the device contains...
You get no...
Well, this place seems...
This place doesn't feel...
Why do I have a feeling that this mission will be resolved in this world?
Because it is
Divine
going to be
inspiration,
a
Captain?
result.
I won't discount it, Ensign.
Or we can break the game.
Well, Jim, it doesn't look like it does anything. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon. It took it in. It looks as if the colony is getting a foothold.
Okay, now he's saying the thing.
Life energy levels are spiking. They're building to a level sufficient for sending out a signal 100 times stronger than the one that brought us here, Captain.
The
gammon sample appears to be thriving in this environment.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
It would appear there is more to this message than we are receiving.
Kirk to Uhura. Are you receiving any strange subspace or radio signals?
Captain, there is a neutrino-based transmission being broadcast near your current position from a point of unknown origin, probably from another star system. Our equipment is not designed to handle it. Though given 1 or 2 weeks, we might be able to identify patterns and extrapolate what it's trying to say.
We'll work on the problem from here. Kirk,
Maybe I should use the dish. This doesn't work.
Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received. In addition, I detect a nutrient replicator within the apparatus, capable of feeding organisms for thousands of centuries. Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual. This projection is being cycled at 1,000.
Thank you for your hard.
Okay, so we need to check the antenna. That's probably how it's going to go.
The control mechanism.
Captain, until power has been returned to these controls, there is nothing I can do.
Okay, it's not powered. Huh. But that's not sending them.
This appears to be similar to Federation.
Somebody else has been here.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
We explore this fully. Ah, there's 3 of them, maybe. For triangulation.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage, though support beneath the base is weak and crumbled. It is aligned to a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. This array appears focused on a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar.
Kirk to Enterprise.
Enterprise to Captain. Mr. Scott wishes to know if you're ready to beam up.
Not yet, Uhura. Kirk out.
There's 3 dishes which are not working. They don't have a power. How they are powered?
The energy level is insufficient, Captain.
Okay, so it's
generate the energy level needed
geothermal.
to provide geothermal energy with hand phasers.
If it's thermal energy you want, Jim, I remember this planet that used a starship's phasers on a microwave setting to heat the surrounding rock to provide temporary power.
An interesting observation, Doctor. We could use the same technique here, but the beam would have to be extremely precise. If we targeted the wrong section, we could melt the rock and destroy the array.
Save new game. Replace, delete, cancel, save new game.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
Okay.
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin.
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything is all right, sir.
Tell Mr. Scott that everything is fine. Kirk out.
Aside from this sensor array, there is nothing unexpected here.
I hope they didn't pay the landscapers very many credits for this.
You know, Jim, this is not the kind of place to inspire.
The array dish appears to have escaped much of the damage.
Volcanic in origin.
Standard volcanic rock. I would estimate 3.5 on the Mohs hardness scale.
That's useful.
Mr. Scott requests to know if everything...
Tell Mr. Scott that everything...
Okay.
This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Madai sensor dish on Vulcan.
Okay. Randomly shooting. How do we use the ship's phasers?
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years.
Mr. Scott requests to know...
Tell Mr. Scott that everything...
Okay, maybe we need to scan something else.
I'm surprised at the high... I really don't think this is the sort of place that would be suited to resort traffic. These rocks would strip the hide off a Horta. I really don't think this is the...
The array is a precision. A standard volcanic rock. I will need to adjust the... The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The support beneath the base is weak.
All these rocks.
I see no logic in...
I pass.
I'm not a mountain goat.
So much for the spirit of adventure. No, I don't think that...
The array dish is quite sturdy and doubtless still functional. Captain, until power has been returned to these... This appears to be similar to... This rock is a secondary formation.
Kirk to Enterprise.
Enterprise to Captain. Mr. Scott wishes to know if you're ready to beam up.
Not yet, Uhura. Kirk out.
There's still something I need to do. Like get this powered, but didn't want to shoot the phasers. So I can do this.
These rocks are...
Geology.
Standard volcanic rock, I would estimate. I do not see the logic. Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual about...
We need to get this working. We are currently like slightly stuck.
You know, I never saw him.
A form of granite, Captain, primarily composed of potash feldspar.
You know, I never saw him. No, I don't think.
Jim, have you lost your mind?
He didn't say that before. Maybe wrong phaser setting. Captain starts to shoot around.
These rocks are approximate. Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual. It is fascinating. Destroying the control mechanism is not in the best interests of this mission.
Jim, have you lost your mind?
These rocks are...
Yeah, you can shoot there.
Nothing unusual about... Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. This appears to be the most accessible spot to heat the rocks below the ground and generate geothermal energy for the array.
Okay.
Kirk to Enterprise. Sulu, can you read me?
Sulu here, Captain. How can I help you?
The Enterprise should broadcast a low-level microwave beam at the coordinates I am sending.
We have them, Mr. Spock. Get ready. Stand away from the blast area.
Stand by, ready for weapons position.
Sending microwaves now.
temperature near the power coupling is rising rapidly. I estimate a below-ground temperature of 345 degrees Kelvin is required to reactivate the array. It is at 320, 330, 335, 340, 345, 350.
Shut off the beam, Mr. Sulu.
Affirmative, Captain.
The array is now drawing power. We were successful.
Okay, that was a pixel hunting, really. That's why in modern games you have like this hot button that shows the things that you can interface with. Alright. What's next?
Captain, the parameters of this sensor have been preset. I suggest we do not change them unnecessarily. Captain, these controls do not seem to be functioning properly.
Fix them.
I will need to adjust the controls before the sensor array is realigned. Captain, this array is clear evidence of an ongoing alien interest in this world.
Someone once tried to talk me into buying a retirement villa on a world like this. It was a bargain.
Small wonder that.
Someone selling ice water here would make a fortune.
With zero people.
Scotty, I need a calculation from the main computer.
While I know the computers on the Enterprise aren't quite as good as her engines, I think she'll manage.
I am sending the problem.
Ugh, that was too easy, Mr. Spock. The angle is 32.5 degrees.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
So is there anything else you need, Captain?
Not now, Scotty. Kirk out.
I am now attempting to realign the device to 32.5 degrees. It should now be correctly aligned.
And the third... What was the problem with the third one?
Captain, the parameters of this sensor have been preset. I suggest we do not change them unnecessarily.
Okay, so only I needed to like heat them up and just punch the one coordinates here. So let's see if anything has changed.
Thank you, Captain, for your aid in constituting my people and in the unexpected necessary realignment of our communications array. You have performed admirably. Of the 16 stations reporting at this point, there have been 50% fatalities, 30% other failures, and only 20% successes. One group got points for style.
Points for style? Is this some sort of game?
Points for style.
Not another alien race with a superiority complex. Who are you this time?
I feel all of these are
Your appreciation
correct.
is welcome, but many questions remain unanswered. Who are you?
Who are you?
I am Sissa, a projection of a synthesis of Ozra and Visner. Clearly you know that the primitive life forms you have been dealing with are incapable of creating that in which you now stand. You will also note that the more demonic of the creatures displayed a passivity you did not expect, while the morally pure creature was aggressive and bloodthirsty.
The contradictions were noted and duly dealt with. I take it you were testing us on our ability to deal with disparate and contradictory inputs.
Yes, your reasoning ability was being tested, as well as your ability to adapt to new ideas when they conflict with deeply held beliefs and cultural customs. You passed quite admirably. Brassica are impressed.
I'm not clear on who the Brassica are.
Captain, from this site, I can deduce various things about the Brassica. They are taller and more slender than we are. They are possessed of 3 fingers and a thumb on each hand. I suppose bilateral symmetry, and I know they possess greater visual acuity than humans. They visited this place well before humans had left the Cro-Magnon stage of development. And I note they have avoided detection by us, and presumably every other race in the universe, before they decided to send out signals to bring us to their bases.
Thank you, Mr. Spock.
And more you shall know as you continue on the quest. I wish you luck.
Kirk to Enterprise, Scotty, 4 to beam up.
Right.
Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end.
In this case, Bones, a new beginning. We were the midwives for the rebirth of a life form. 2 halves that have been made whole again. That's the way it was meant to be.
And let us hope that this is the end of Ensign John's prejudices.
We can all learn to stop judging people by appearances. Ensign Johns might have done well to remember the biblical representation of Lucifer, appearing in the guise of an angel of light.
You can never trust anybody. And people who look like pointy-eared hobgoblins are definitely at the bottom of the list.
It appears that Dr. McCoy did not learn the lesson of this mission either. Unfortunate, but not unexpected.
Fortunately, the Alphans and the Omegans, learned philosophy and personal belief, are not as easily divorced from logic as some would believe. We humans attain our greatest fulfillment when both of them are united.
Really, Captain?
Really. But I've had enough philosophy for one day. I'd rather worry about these Brassica and their cosmic quest.
Well, with me aboard, we're sure to get points for style.
Many questions remain unanswered, Captain.
And there's only one way to answer them.
Captain, message from Starfleet.
Bring it up, Lieutenant.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed with the results of your recent performance. Outstanding work, Jim. Keep up the good work. Kane out.
Ahead, Mr. Sulu. Warp Factor 5.
Leaving orbit. Increasing to warp factor 5.
Spock, where do you think we should start looking for this? Brassica?
Logic suggests that they will present us with opportunities to come to them.
Captain, a message from Starfleet.
On screen.
Captain, the USS Regulus has been forced to cancel its survey mission to the Antares Rift. We've decided to redirect the Enterprise to that mission. The USS Hood will take over for your current assignment.
Of course, the Antares Rift has a rather dangerous reputation.
Nothing the Enterprise can't handle. But be careful. Starfleet out.
Save new game.
Okay.
Save new game. Cancel. Save. Replace. Delete previous game. Save new game. Save new. Replace. Delete previous game. Cancel. Save. Replace. Delete previous game.
Okay, so computer.
Antares Rift, an area of unstable space near the star Antares. Little is known of its properties. There have been numerous disappearances in this area.
Bermuda Triangle, basically.
Chris Richards, Starfleet rank, Field Admiral. Current assignment, Chief of Starfleet Operations. While Captain, served as Commander of the USS Gallant. Also served with James Kirk aboard the USS Stalwart.
Rigelian fever. What? Does it do?
Rigelian fever, a highly contagious and infectious disease with effects much like bubonic plague. A person can die of fever in 1 day. The only known antidote for Rigelian fever is Ritelin.
Okay.
The Antares Rift. It should be a most interesting assignment.
How so, Spock?
There have been several attempts to chart it. All expeditions into the Rift vanished, without a trace.
Enterprise
Those
can handle
expeditions
it.
were years ago. Our starships are far more capable than they were during the time of those attempts.
Captain, a 10-year-old child is far more capable than a 3-year-old child. But there are many problems that neither child can solve.
Arming weapons.
Raising shields.
Okay. Is the navigation. Number 15. That looks like a rift.
Captain's log, stardate 6257.6. We have entered the Antares Rift and found spatial disruptions in the rift that make using warp engines extremely dangerous. Repairs are almost complete on the minor damage we suffered upon entry into the rift. We are continuing our survey using impulse engines.
My poor babies. Warp engines were meant to be used, Captain.
Communications are back online, Captain.
Deflectors at 93% power and increasing.
Captain, undoubtedly that phenomenon would explain many of the strange disappearances in this sector. Still, with our warp engines deactivated, our computers indicate we will be safe.
Ouch, 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 ouch.
Communications are out again, Captain. Is anyone hurt?
If he was human, Mr. Spock's pride might be...
Captain, sensors failed to indicate anything unusual prior to the explosion. I would speculate that it was caused by an extremely unusual rift in the space-time continuum, a place where radically different physical laws apply.
And since it was different space-time, our sensors weren't programmed to detect it.
And it could happen again at any time without warning.
Save new game. Save new, replace, delete previous game. Cancel. Save, replace, delete previous game. Save new game. Replace, delete previous game. Save new game. Delete previous. Save new game. Delete previous. Save new game.
Okay.
Any ideas, Lieutenant?
I was barely able to reroute the necessary connections last time, Captain. Communications are completely useless now. We may be able to enter codes into the library computer and instruct others to send messages to us.
Scotty, what's our status?
Very bad, Captain. Whatever hit the Enterprise hit us right in our own neighborhood. The hull is breached 6 meters from the bridge. Beyond that, the instruments are useless. I can't read or send anything through these controls. We'll need a starbase to make this bridge functional again.
Scotty, how about auxiliary control?
Captain, I cannot determine the status of anything beyond the place where the rupture occurred. The rest of the ship could be dead as far as we know.
Ideas, Mr. Walker?
I'm a security guard, sir, not an idea man. Still, if we could send out probes to detect these rifts, we might get a better idea on whether they're moving or not, and whether we should stop and make repairs, or keep moving.
Captain, I believe I may be able to adjust the sensors to detect these spatial rifts and pilot the Enterprise to avoid them. However, the sensors are too heavily damaged here. I will need to get to auxiliary control as soon as possible if I am to reroute the necessary systems.
Mr. Spock, the bulkheads were breached just outside of the bridge. No one's going to be able to leave the bridge for at least an hour unless they're transported out.
Status, Mr. Sulu.
Helm is not responding, Captain. The controls are completely dead.
Status, Mr. Chekhov.
Captain, navigation is not responding. The circuits are as lifeless as a Stalinist.
The damage readout for the Enterprise has gone crazy. There are obviously problems with the ship's damage registers. The damage readout for the ship's short-range sensor display for the science station. Now all it is displaying is static.
There is no problem with the display, Captain. We have been cut off from ship sensors. Captain, the library computer is online. Apparently, its circuits were shielded from the explosion. Captain, I have managed to program a message into the library computer. The first time a person accesses the computer, they will read our distress signal. Hopefully, they can code a reply into the computer, which we can access. We are in a difficult situation.
Captain, I've already said they're useless. I might be able to employ backup systems from auxiliary control.
Okay.
Captain, the transporters are operational. I request permission to be transported, so I can begin the adjustments to sensors as soon as possible.
Point
Go
to
ahead,
point.
Spock.
Point to point.
No, Spock,
transport.
I'll go first. Go ahead, Spock. Spock!
Okay, what just happened?
Captain, this bridge is useless. For our own sake.
Captain, that thing with the 4 arms wasn't Mr. Spock, was it? That beam wasn't some sort of transmutation beam, was it?
I don't think so, Mr. Walker. But the two have to be connected.
The controls are still not functioning, Captain.
Captain, what was that thing?
I don't know, Mr. Chekhov, but I intend to find out.
Captain, we need to get off the bridge. I recommend we keep monitoring the science station and see if anyone answers our messages.
You get no response. No effect. This is the science station.
I can take care of that, Captain.
Yeah, he hasn't got any job now.
I'm patching your log into the computer. You should have voice messages.
Captain, we've managed to jury-rig an evacuation tube through the bridge turbo lift. We should be able to keep it stable long enough for you to be evacuated.
Okay. Nice. Okay, life support. Ah, okay, auxiliary control is here. I remember this. We were in a similar class ship in a previous game. Engineering. Engineering. Transport room. Sick bay. Auxiliary control.
Captain's log. After equipping ourselves with tricorders and phasers, we are now searching for a way to find Spock and return him to us. I've determined that the best place to start...
Ouch, 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 ouch.
Captain, it's a very good thing we took the warp engines offline.
How bad is it, Scotty?
That explosion was 42% stronger than the one that struck near the bridge. Our left warp nacelle is crippled, Captain.
I hope it's not a trend. Keep me posted, Mr. Scott. Kirk out. Our highest priority is control of the sensors. We must find Spock.
I'll handle it, Captain. Remember, I was a physicist when I first joined the Enterprise.
Ah! Captain, look!
Oh no, it's Bob.
Captain, I'm picking up strange readings around the alien. It's as though it's continually popping in and out of reality.
Then how come we don't see any flicker?
It cycles between our space and something else. Once every millisecond. Too fast for the human eye to follow.
Captain, what happened?
It appears our alien friend likes its privacy.
The Cossacks have locked the door, Captain.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty. Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant. Kirk to sick bay. Bones, we're computer.
Okay, now this episode has more.
Come in, Scotty.
Captain, I got bad news for you. This rift is affecting the hull of the ship. Our hull integrity is dropping fast.
How bad is it, Scotty?
It's at 92% and dropping rapidly. According to our system specs, if it drops below 63%...
Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity. Divert as much power as you can to the sensors. Let's find out what's causing this. Evacuate all people from the outer decks. Divert power from life support on those decks. Put as much powers as you can to the shields. Use them to support our hull integrity.
This would be like a standard thing in the next generation, but this is like original series.
Will probably only buy us a few minutes, Captain.
Do it, Scotty. Every minute counts. Kirk out.
Okay.
Awaiting orders, Captain.
Why do aliens always seem to invade the Enterprise?
I wonder
Actually,
why.
Pavel, last year, 5 different alien species tried to take over the USS Regulus. The Enterprise had it relatively easy compared to them.
But why do all the competent aliens always seem to invade the Enterprise?
Well, they say the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
What does that mean, Sulu? That we should have been more vigilant? How could we if the sensor said nothing?
Well, maybe if Starfleet sensor designers would be quicker to modify their sensors to react to new phenomena.
You two are as bad as Spock and McCoy.
Nah.
Kirk to Scott. Kirk to Uhura.
Captain, I've moved operations to Galileo 2 shuttlecraft. I've sent a message to Starfleet Command, and I've rerouted internal communications to run from here.
Lieutenant Uhura, what happens if the shuttle bay is hit by an explosion? That's one of the most vulnerable areas on the ship.
That's a risk I'm prepared to take, Mr. Sulu. I've activated the shuttle's shields for protection.
Good. Be prepared to evacuate the shuttle on my signal. Kirk out.
Well, that's a decent try.
Kirk to Scott. Kirk to sick bay. Bones, where are you?
Jim, what the devil are you doing to the ship?
I'm not the one doing it. Spock's gone, Bones. Someone took him from the ship. Some aliens that I've never seen before.
If you can get me a medical scan, I might be able to find some way to combat them. Make that a priority. McCoy out.
Is it my imagination, or is Dr. McCoy getting a little power crazed lately?
I'd say a lot power crazed, Hikaru.
Well, Jim, I leave you alone for 5 minutes and look at the mess you've made. Jim, I'm waiting for that medical...
We're trying.
Okay, so we need the medical scan. Can the alien now let us in?
The Cossacks have locked the door, Captain. The Cossacks have locked the door, Captain.
No effect.
This panel doesn't seem to be working.
The alien has thought of everything.
We could bring down a phaser welder and force it open.
We don't have the time, Mr. Suda.
Nothing to report, Captain.
This panel doesn't seem to be working.
The alien has thought of everything.
We could bring down a phaser welder and force it open.
We don't have the time, Mr. Suda.
And we can't use the transport.
Captain, this is a medical kit. Captain. Nothing to report, Captain.
Captain, there has been an explosion near the shuttle bay. I'm fine. There has been no significant damage.
Any luck communicating with Starfleet Command?
I have made contact with the light cruiser USS Jefferson, sir. It will reach the edge of Antares Rift in 16 hours. The rift is playing havoc with communications.
Thank you, Lieutenant Kirkout. Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scott. Kirk to sick bay. Computer.
Everything seems to be okay here.
Captain, is it too late to put in a request for an early retirement?
Scotty, if we hit any more of these random detonations, it'll be mandatory retirement for all of us.
Actually, Captain, I was hoping for a better pension.
Kirk to Uhura. Come in. Kirk to sick bay. Computer. Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant.
Captain, the rift is
If Mr. Spock were here, he'd probably...
Okay, he doesn't seem to be helpful.
Captain, where would you like to be transported?
Send us to sick bay, Mr. Kyle. Send us to engineering, Mr. Send us to auxiliary control, Mr. Kyle.
Yes, sir.
I hope this works. Or we could get like forearms.
Energize.
Captain, I'm getting a sensor reading on the alien. I'm sure Dr. McCoy will find this data interesting.
Okay, that works. Ouch.
Not again. Jim, we've got to get out of here.
We need to get Spock back.
I should have known the Spock would be good for something someday. Now the day has come and he isn't here.
young human male in...
Here's the sensor scan, Bones.
Jim, this says our invaders are Vorians.
Vorians.
But they're extinct. They died out at the time that Cochrane invented the warp drive. They were slaughtered in the Three Systems War.
Jim, I know my history, but I also know my anatomy. The alien in auxiliary control is a Vorian. There's only one strange thing.
What's that?
This creature isn't capable of doing some of the things that you described. It's an ordinary Vorian. No special organs, no unusual brain patterns, nothing that traditionally suggests superhuman feats.
Can you neutralize it, Bones?
Actually, it's a female. And yes, I know of something that can incapacitate it without harming it. A gas mixture. You'll have to pump large quantities into auxiliary control for it to be effective, but it should work almost immediately.
Okay, gas it is.
Here's the gas, Jim. Be careful with it. There hasn't been a Vorian in 150 years.
Kirk to Scott. Come in, Scotty.
Captain, the hull degradation is continuing. It's currently below 92%, but at the rate it's dropping, we have less than an hour before the ship is destroyed.
Kirk to Scott. Come in. Kirk to Scott. Come computer.
Vurians, a race native to Vega 3 with minor psionic talents. They were exterminated by the Antoshi in the Three Systems War. Vurians, a race native to Vega 3 with minor psionic talents. They were exterminated by the Antoshi in the Three Systems War, a war in the early 22nd century between the Antoshi and the Vurians, in which the Vurians were exterminated.
Okay, this is like a... Too bad you can't ask everything from the computer. Okay. Funny.
A variety of neutral toxin, Captain.
The tricorder indicates this is a neural toxin engineered to affect Vorians. Its effect on humans, aside from its smell, should be minimal.
At least in the short term.
Kirk to Uhura. Come in, Lieutenant.
Captain, the rift is providing subspace interference. It's rather unusual. It's as though the interference were coming from subspace itself. I've never seen anything quite like it.
If Mr. Spock were here, he'd probably find it fascinating. Keep trying to break through and report anything else that's unusual to me. Kirk out.
We can't use the Spock as the crutch right now. We need to figure out this ourselves.
I do not know what you've got there, but I've smelled Klingon nerve gas with a better bouquet.
You get no response. Deflector control grid. Life support control systems. This monitors and controls the ship's life support. Impulse engine fuel control systems. This system monitors fuel usage in the impulse engines. Impulse engine. This seems... Mr. Scott is wondering how Kirk's adventures are going to affect his poor engines this time.
Not in there, Captain. Put the gas in the life support pump, then use the controls.
Okay, where's the pump?
Deflector control. Artificial gravity. Deflector control. Life support control. Life support. Life support. Life support. Life support. Deflector control. This seems... This leads into the Jeffries tube and is sealed due to a hull breach.
Okay.
System functioning normally, Captain.
I could have told you that, laddie.
System functioning.
I could have.
System function.
I could have told you that. Not in there, Cap. Not in there. Not in there. Not in there. Not in there. Captain, let's not be fooling around with the deflector controls.
Life support control. Life support. Life support. This leads into the Jeffrey. Life support. Deflector control. This device stores special chemicals that are pumped into the ship's atmosphere when needed and is operated by the life support system.
Why it isn't located next to the life support then?
Dr. McCoy had given me the specs on that gas injection system. It looks like a rather clumsy fit.
I'll do it, Scotty.
You'd think that Dr. McCoy would have some respect for engineering.
Let's see how our alien friend likes Dr. McCoy's medicine.
Probably as much as we do, Hikaru.
Mr. Kyle, can you transport me to auxiliary control?
Aye, sir. But I have to remind you how dangerous intership transporting can be. We've really been pushing our luck today.
I'm aware of that, Mr. Kyle, but we have to take the risk.
Again.
Look, something's happening.
That's odd. All systems look normal. The aliens haven't touched the helm. No, I don't think that... Everything seems to be working. Library computer, external sensors. Mr. Sulu, see if you can find where the Vurian went. Maybe that will lead us to Spock.
Captain, I'm detecting the Vurian. She seems to have vanished through a rift in space. I have the coordinates of her last known location. The diagram indicates warp engines offline. Impulse engine efficiency at only 79%. This station is functioning normally.
Save new game.
Kyle, you have the coordinates where the alien teleported?
Captain, you're asking me to transport you into another dimension. I may not be able to lock onto you there.
I'm aware of the risk, Mr. Kyle. You have your orders.
Aye, sir.
Okay, this is quite ballsy. With no spacesuits.
Energize.
Only marginally less dangerous than
Captain's personal log. I have transported to many strange places in my day, but beaming into an alien dimension is something entirely unique. Only the extreme risk to my ship and my friend Spock would cause me to take such a drastic risk.
This doesn't look like a nice place to visit.
There's a Vurian. I don't see Spock.
He's got to be around here somewhere.
Scan everything.
Now this is strange. According to the tricorder, everything around us is organic.
But it feels like minerals to me.
Tricorders don't lie, Pablo.
It could be a deception, Captain.
They seem more organic than mineral, Captain. They seem more organic than mineral, Captain. Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. It also has a wave signature indicative of some sort of psionic abilities. Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic. Captain, this stone has a cell structure.
Okay, interesting.
It's a female of its race, Captain. I'm afraid my tricorder doesn't have much information on Vurians.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure. It must be organic.
I hope these stones are friendly.
Yeah, let's hope the stones are friendly.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure.
I hope these stones...
Captain, this stone...
I hope these stones...
The ground registers as alive, Captain. Almost like some colony life form. It registers a psionic signature. Captain, I am getting organic readings. I can't explain this, except to say that every particle of matter around us is organic and radiates a psionic wave signature.
Incredible. Incredible.
No effect, Captain. I don't have enough knowledge of Vurian anatomy.
Captain, I am detecting a large quantity of these blue stones underneath the surface in this spot.
The stones are organic, Captain. My tricorder detects intense psionic energy from them.
Psychic stones. Let's take the yellow one as well.
Now this is strange.
But it feels like...
Tricorders...
It could be a deception.
Captain, this stone has a cell structure.
I hope these stones are...
The ground registers...
Greetings, Lord Kirk. I am Eminatan. I regret the discomfort that I put you through on your ship. I wish only to preserve my joy by serving the Savant.
Are you willing to help me, Eminatan? Where's Spock? How did you come to be here? What were you doing on my ship? Are you willing to help me? What were you doing on...
The Savant empowered me to remove any psionically adept being from your ship, and to prevent you from following him. It was not our intention to do you harm.
Starfleet. What a career move. I really have been where no man has gone before.
I hope the inhabitants of this dimension don't mind visitors.
Let's find Spock and get out of here quick.
You aren't scared, are you?
Not at all. The Russians are just an efficient and very sensible people.
I wonder how many other universes like this one exist, connected to ours by a thread.
According to Professor Tomau's theory, that would be dependent on the number of dimensions shared by the two universes.
But Professor Ondiango's theory would contradict this.
Ondiango has never proven his theory.
But Tamao's theory doesn't explain slingshot effects.
Gentlemen, it was a rhetorical question.
Nah.
The Savant is now summoned, Lord Kirk. He awaits, not many footsteps from here, by the fountainhead. Seek him.
Are you willing to help me, Eminata? How did you come to be here?
I was a lone soldier, fleeing the massacres that followed the Three Systems War. I was heavily outnumbered. In desperation, I attempted to use my son's gravity well to propel my ship into a high warp velocity, so I could escape the pursuit.
I remember reading about that war in my history class at the Academy.
I was warped into the Antares sector. I traveled through a dimensional rift into this place. The Savant sustained me and gave me joy where there was once only despair. I have been here ever since. The Savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of your race. That makes you very important.
Physical forms are unimportant. A species is only a similarity of material form, constructed from genetic instructions. Only emotions matter.
Are you willing to help me, Eminat? Where is Spock? Are you willing to help me?
Possibly. I am aware of your ship's distress. I can bring it to the attention of the Savant. It may help.
Actually, I was thinking more about freeing Spock. What is the Savant?
A being found that the physical form impaired his emotions, and so he discarded it as a lord discards his raiment. An entity of great benevolence and joy. Through my psionic talents, we are linked in ecstasy eternal.
Where is this Savant?
Everywhere. When one is an entity, one transcends the limitations of space, time, and dimension. But the Savant prefers to center its thoughts at the fountainhead, which is quite close.
Right.
The Savant awaits. I am unimportant compared to him. Go to him at once.
I will. You are the last of... Can you talk about the Savant? Give us a chance to know. I will. You are the last of your race. Can you talk about this? I will.
Good luck, Lord Kirk.
Are you willing to help me, Eminat? Where is Spock?
The Lord Spock is not far. His mind dances in the bliss of this place. He would welcome you. It is not a long or difficult search to find him.
Okay.
Save new game. Replace previous. Save new game.
Okay.
I am the Savant. I wish you and all entities nothing but joy.
Who are you? Why do you ensnare others against their will?
The pursuit of joy is the prime goal of all life, Captain. How can what I do be against their will?
Okay,
Captain,
that was bad
you
start.
misunderstand me. It is not my will to bring harm to any creature. I have taken two creatures that are without the most important thing in existence, joy, and given it to them in infinite variety and abundance. The Vurian was filled with despair at the death of her race. She was overwhelmed by sorrow and grief. I have healed her of these afflictions forever. As for the Vulcan, he has been conditioned to deny his emotions. I am bringing him in contact with a part of himself that will enhance his life. It is a gift of love.
You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent. Get a life. You can't just sit around feeling happy for eternity. What does that accomplish? Love? Spock doesn't want your gift. He doesn't need your gift. Release him and let us return to... You have no right to inflict emotions on any being, regardless of how positive you may think them to be, without their consent. Get a life. You can't just sit around feeling happy for eternity. What does that accomplish? Love? Spock doesn't want your gift. He doesn't need your gift. Release... You have no right to...
I give them an eternity of joy. Is that not every creature's desire? How can granting a subliminal desire be beyond my rights?
That is the most arrogant piece of... An eternity of joy. And I suppose you derive no benefits from the people you hold prisoner? Do you honestly believe that because what you do may benefit them, that the ends justify the means? An eternity of joy. And I suppose you derive no benefits from the people you hold prisoner? Do you honestly believe that because what you do may benefit them, that the ends justify the means?
Yes, Captain. For such a great good as that which I provide, the ends do justify the means. I will send you back to your own ship and give you safe passage through the Antares Rift if you wish.
Okay. Back to the scanning.
They seem more organic than mineral, Captain. They seem more... It's some kind of life pod, Captain. I believe it is a variant design. It's some kind of life... Captain, the readings are incomprehensible. The tricorder has no idea what all these waveforms represent. Captain, may I suggest...
We may not have time, Lieutenant.
But it feels like minerals to me.
Even so, rescuing Spock is our highest priority. Let's get moving.
Does not register as a life form, Captain. No signs of life, Captain. Tanned animal hide. Similar to leather, Captain.
The pouch appears to be composed of some sort of tanned animal hide. It's old, but not very worn.
Pick everything up. That's how the adventure games go.
They seem more organic than mineral, Captain.
Spock, what have they done to you?
Fascinating. Emotional intensity of a previously unknown level. Our link with the savant acts as an amplifier. The more minds in union with him, the greater the level of emotion. And happiness is a powerful emotion.
Spock, do you want this?
Happiness is a human desire, Captain. I am a Vulcan. I want to be free of emotions. This is the antithesis of my desires.
Spock.
Captain, may I suggest...
We may not have time, Lieutenant. Even so, rest...
The pod was constructed from a high-grade Jupiterium steel alloy, Captain. No signs of life, no signs of power. My guess was that it was irreparably damaged on entry into this dimension. The Virion is lucky to be alive. They seem more organic than mineral, Captain. Captain, the tricorder registers him as Spock.
Captain, Mr. Spock is normal except for accelerated brain activity in the areas of his brain that control psionic abilities. He is currently in a mind meld. I detect organic matter surrounding the craft, but the wreck is not organic. It is the only non-organic matter I can find, except for the items that we're carrying.
I shall try to tell you what I know. The emotions make it difficult to communicate. The creature that has done this is called the Savant. A being of great power that has transformed itself into a creature of living emotion. It can form a link with any creature with psionic abilities, including Vulcans. It taps into latent emotions and amplifies them, using them to increase its emotional stability.
What happens if it gets cut off from you and the Vurian?
It would be alone, but could cope. We enhance its enjoyment, but we are not essential to its survival. We are like a backup system. It relies on us for emotional support, but it could exist without us.
Interesting.
Save new game.
Captain, I recommend you negotiate with Savant to escape this place. I am expendable.
Expendable? Spock, I see that these emotions have given you a sense of humor. If we can find a weakness, we might be able to take you with us. What can you tell us, Spock? Spock, can you negotiate with the Savant on our behalf? If we can find a weakness, we might be able to take you with us. What can you tell us, Spock?
Its reliance on emotion is its main weakness. It is a creature of intense needs, and despite having millions of years of joy, it still retains a subconscious fear of losing its joy, of experiencing negative emotions. Captain, I recommend you...
Expendable? If it's Spock, we found some very strange stones. What are they?
This entire pocket dimension is organic and psionic in order to maintain the Savant's life force. Negative emotions that are suppressed might be absorbed in mineral-like pockets beneath the surface of this dimension.
Oh.
Captain,
expendable? If we can find a Spock, can you negotiate? Spock, we found some very strange stones. Expendable? Spock, if we can expendable? Spock, I see that these emotions have given you a sense.
As usual, your illogic is beyond comprehension, Captain. If I were human, I might find it delightful.
Welcome. Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see reason?
Captain, I do see reason. My intellect is many orders of magnitude beyond yours. You should trust my judgment.
I trust Spock's judgment, and you're imprisoned. Savant, creatures like ourselves need to be free to make mistakes and to learn from them. Only then can our intellects advance the many orders of magnitude that are needed to equal yours.
But I can elevate him to my level without any suffering. He need not experience the hardships that my race experienced. Is this not an extreme act of mercy?
So I suppose we are going to end up throwing stones at him.
I'll get them, Captain. I've put them in the pouch we found. Boy, am I getting an odd feeling from these stones.
You have met the Savant. Now you realize the true power of this place.
Are you willing to help me, Eminati?
Through the Savant, I know your desires. Why should I help release the poor Vulcan into a life of misery?
Because I need him to save the lives of over 400 people on the ship.
Very well, Captain. I will help you. No. Grief.
Okay.
Pain. Gentle lords, why have you inflicted this upon me? I thought I was free of grief forever.
I'm sorry. We need to attract the attention of the Savant. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure of what would happen. I'll stop. I'm sorry. We need to attract... I'm sorry. I wasn't...
The joy returns. Do not take it from me again.
I heard that, Mr. Sulu.
I didn't say anything.
You've always been saying things behind my back. You've always said I don't have enough discipline, that I don't respect my crew. You're insubordinate, Mr. Sulu.
Get hold of yourself, Captain.
What on earth was I saying? I'm sorry, Mr. Sulu. That was not...
Captain, I think we better get out of here as soon as possible.
Okay, that's interesting.
What are we doing here? Why did we come here?
Captain?
There's no way back. We'll never find Spock. We're trapped here forever, and it's all my fault. I knew the Antares Rift was dangerous. I should never have let the ship go in there.
Captain?
But let's find Spock.
I wonder if these are dangerous to pick up.
This place reminds me of Deneva. I lost my brother there. He was a few years younger than I was, and there were times when he annoyed me.
Captain?
And now he's gone. Gone. I'll never see him again, never tell him...
Regret.
To tell him...
Captain, snap out of it.
This place must be getting to me. Don't worry, Mr. Walker, I'll protect you.
Sir?
Sulu, Checo. You know, I may never have told you this before, but I care for you all more than I can tell. Sulu, with your dedication, your unwavering sense of responsibility...
Captain, are you talking about me?
Checo, I've always been impressed by your enthusiasm. All those wonderful Russian jokes, your humanity.
Captain?
And you, Mr. Walker, with your rugged determination. I'll bet you had more girlfriends than anyone in the history of the Academy.
Actually, sir, I'm... celibate.
What was I just saying? Why are you reaching for your phaser, Mr. Sulu?
Captain.
Walker, I saw you sneaking up on me.
Sir.
You're all against me. You've gotten rid of Spock, now me. Who's next? Scotty? Uhura? Or are they part of this too?
Captain, snap out of it.
Something is definitely wrong. Such intense emotions.
Interesting. I felt that too.
A brief surge of conflicting emotions, anger and grief.
Ah, okay.
Did you feel what I just felt? It felt like jealousy.
I felt it too. I was angry at you. There was no rational reason, but for an instant, I felt like I should be commanding the Enterprise, and you were obstructing me. I don't know why I felt like that.
You don't want to know what I was feeling.
What was that?
I don't know. I just felt desperate, irrational.
I had conflicting impulses. Part of me wanted to attack someone, anyone. The other part wanted to run away.
I don't know about you, but the instant those stones were put together,
I felt despondent. Like I didn't want to live anymore. That someone was out to get me and I couldn't fight them.
Maybe we should leave those stones alone.
Interesting.
I felt that too.
A brief surge of conflicting emotions, anger and grief.
The instant those two stones came together.
I remembered I had a quarrel with a friend of mine at the academy. I was so angry. I hadn't thought about that in years.
I had a similar experience.
How could I have forgotten about her? Let's not do that again.
I'm sorry, Captain. I just had the most horrible...
I know. I think we all had that emotion.
I'm glad I didn't have a phaser in my hands when you put those two stones together.
Damn that, it's gone.
For a moment, I felt angry. Angry at myself for not moving the ship away from that explosion.
And I felt angry that I had not withdrawn from the Antares Rift. These stones definitely generate strong emotions. I'm beginning to wonder if I'm losing my sanity.
I don't know what these stones are doing to our emotions, but I don't like it.
Okay, that's good.
Save new game. Replay. Delete. Cancel. Save. Replace previous game.
Welcome.
Hey, you.
Have you come to ask for transportation back to your ship?
Not without Spock. Savant, isn't there anything I can do to make you see...
Captain, I do see reason. My intellect is many orders of magnitude beyond yours. You should trust my judgment.
I trust Spock. Savant, really? I see you have great power and great splendor, but I don't see great wisdom.
I have taken sorrow and turned it into bliss. I have taken that which denied feelings and have shown him his true nature. Is that not wisdom? This object has no effect against me. This object has no effect. This object has no effect against me. This object has... This object has...
Not the whole boat.
You disturb my rest. Fortunately, I am not alone in bliss. Do not use such a tactic again on me. I warn you. What is this? What am I feeling? What have you done?
What's the matter, Savant? Not feeling those good vibrations? Life isn't all happiness and joy. It's time you experienced a reality check.
No. I have spent millions of years trying to escape the anguish. Misery is the destroyer of worthy souls, Captain, and you are destroying me.
I am not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you. Free Spock and return us to our ship. I didn't want to do this, but if I have to destroy you to free my friend, I will. I am not destroying you. Your own unwillingness to respect others is destroying you.
Am I really such a monster that I deserve such pain?
You have lost respect for others. Yes. Everyone may have different goals, different ideals than you, and you have the right to pursue them. You need to respect their free will, even if it makes them miserable.
You do not understand me, Captain, but I am in no mood to argue. You and your scientist may be freed. Enjoy your universe, Captain Kirk.
Captain's log. We are out of the Antares Rift and are on our way to Starbase 8, where the Enterprise has extensive repairs scheduled. All crew members, including First Officer Spock, are safely aboard.
So, Spock, you mean you had an eternity of pure enjoyment and you gave it up?
Affirmative, Doctor.
That has to be the most illogical thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Humans spend their entire lifetime dreaming of an eternity of pleasure.
As do animals in the field. Perhaps humans are meant to be better than that. Perhaps we should dream of greatness and not simple gratification.
Greatness is a term subject to individual interpretation, Captain. The savant viewed the pursuit of greatness as useless, because all great deeds and accomplishments are destined to be forgotten in cosmic terms.
A cosmic being thinks in cosmic terms, Spock. But somehow that philosophy overlooks a lot of life's little pleasures. There's just one thing that bothers me about the whole thing.
Really, Doctor?
Spock finally got to enjoy himself, and I wasn't there to see it. Now that's something worth remembering.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed with the results of your recent performance. Outstanding work, Jim. Keep up the good work. Kane out.
Museum piece.
How long until we reach Nova Atar, Ensign?
About 23 hours, Captain.
22 hours, 53 minutes, and 17 seconds, to be precise.
Spock, there's no need to be precise. We're going on shore leave. Rest, relaxation, no calls from Starfleet.
Yeah, that's probably not working out well.
Captain, we have a message coming in from Admiral Richards at Starfleet.
On screen, Lieutenant.
Hello, Jim. I know you're going on shore leave, but...
What is it, Chris?
Since you're going there anyway, and it's only a small favor...
Favor?
I don't want to inconvenience you, but...
Fine, you have it. What would you like me to do?
We recently discovered that one of the exhibits in the Smithsonian Annex at Nova Atar is of great historical significance to the Soransi, an influential family from planet Lakian. The museum is going to have a small ceremony to return the item. The Federation planned to send a representative, but, well, she couldn't make it. Since you'll be in the neighborhood, well, no dress uniforms. All you have to do is smile and shake hands.
Smile, shake hands. It would be my pleasure, Admiral. My chief engineer had already promised to show me around. We'll be there.
Thanks, Jim. I owe you one. Check your data files for details. Oh, one more thing, Jim. Due to the security concerns, you won't be allowed to bring any electronic equipment with you. Richards out.
Now, I was saying...
Captain, do we really have to stand around and listen to speeches from a bunch of politicians?
It won't be all bad, Scotty. The curator's a major cognac producer, and he asked us to show up early to thank us for our support.
Captain, it'd be rude to keep a man like the curator waiting, what with an important diplomatic function to prepare for.
Ha. Okay. Scotty, you get.
We're not in orbit, Captain.
Get to drink.
Save new game. Save new. Replay. Delete previous game. Save new game. Replay. Delete. Save new game. Replay. Delete previous. Save new game.
Okay, that was Star Trek. Judgment Rites. 2 episodes today. That's what I wanted to play. Alright, let's keep a break, sauna break, and in after sauna games we are going to play Viet Cong, which is definitely one of the best Vietnam games ever from 2003. So it's old one. So let's see how it works out. And in the end, I'll play a bit of Dune Awakening, showing the social hub. So that's the idea. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like and maybe even subscribe. That helps a lot if you like during the stream. If you are watching on Twitch, hey, throw me a message.